These were the scenes yesterday during what was supposed to be rush hour at Sri Lanka's railway stations. In a sudden move, station masters across the country launched a 24-hour strike on the orders of the Sri Lanka Railway Station Masters Union. With only 80 office trains operating yesterday and 200 others cancelled, it was pure pandemonium at two of the country's busiest railway stations, Colombo Fort and Mardana. With more than 350,000 passengers travelling by train every single day in Sri Lanka, it was thus understandable for frustrations and tempers to be high, with incidents of scuffles reported at some stations. With passengers left without trains along their routes home, massive overcrowding on the only trains available, and zero focus on health and safety regulations, you could say the situation was not ideal for a country just dragging itself out of a devastating pandemic. However, the Railway Station Masters Union says that the strike was not for the benefit of railway staff or for labour issues, but for the passengers themselves. Their demand yesterday was for the resumption of long-distance train routes with immediate effect, routes that the Railway Administration says it can't restart right now due to a shortage of engine drivers and guards. However, this morning all seemed to be back to normal as railway passengers welcomed the familiar sight of their trains after the strike was called off. However, at around 12:30 p.m. today, thousands of passengers were in for a rude surprise when halfway through their journeys, the trains simply stopped, some just within sight of their next stop. This was the case with train number 8349 along the coastal line to Rambukkana. Just 100 meters away from the Wadduwa railway station, passengers were informed by staff that trains had been ordered to stop running due to another strike ordered by station masters. This time the reason being the suspension of the deputy chairman of the Sri Lanka Railway Station Masters Union by the railway administration. Thousands of passengers were left with no option than to disembark and continue on foot to the nearest bus station. This included tourists heading to Colombo for their flights home. Not a very great last memory of sunny Sri Lanka.
It's not helpful. I've come here just basically to ride about on trains and go to Jaffna. Not been able to get. I've not been able to get to Gull today, so I'm now returning. Hopefully things will improve. I need to sort this out, the government. It has been very frustrating. I've had to have taxis, which has been more expense, which really I can't afford. But I'm here on holiday. This is my 5th visit to Sri Lanka in the last 6 years. I thoroughly enjoy the country, and obviously it's not making me feel very nice this time. At least if they could announce it and say, right, we're going on strike in 2 days' time, at least we've got a chance to make different plans, cancel our tickets, make other arrangements.
This sense of frustration seems to have hit a nerve with Sri Lankan passengers as well, who seem to have had enough. For a populace long averse to the thought of privatising any state-owned enterprise, today, even they have to grudgingly admit that the writing is definitely on the wall for the Railways Department. With over $1.3 billion in losses recorded in the 10 years from 2010 to 2020 alone, the sheer scale of the economic loss to the country is staggering, and public opinion on the sensitive privatisation subject seems to be on the change.
මේක කරන්න බෑනේ මේක පෞද්ගලික කරන්න ඕන. මේ මාසෙ කීපාරක් කරාද? මේක පෞද්ගලික අන්තර දෙන්න ඕන. මේගොල්ලෝ මේ හිටපු ගමන් ආයි දැන් ඕච්චි නැහැ කියනවා ඉරෑ. මේවා සිස්ටම් එක කරගෙන යන්නේ මේ.
මේවා මොන හරි ප්‍රයිවට් එකක් කරන්න ඕන නැතුව කොහොමද දියුණු වෙන්නේ නේද?
මේක පෞද්ගලිකකරණය කළ යුතුයි. ආදායම බිලියන 2යි පාඩුව බිලියන 10යි. වැඩක් නැහැ නේ එහෙම ආයතන පවත්වාගෙන ගිහිල්ලා.
මේ මොකක් හරි වැඩ පිළිවෙලකට යන්න ඕනේ නැතුව හැමදාම මේ විදිහට කරන්න බෑනේ. දින දිගට එහෙන් කියනවා දිගෙන් දිගට පාඩුයි කියලා. මෙහෙන් මිනිස්සු මෙහෙන් රස්තියාද වෙනවා. දෙකම වෙන්නේ නැහනේ. ලංකාවේ රටකට හොඳ සර්විස් එකක් ගන්න නම් පෞද්ගලිකකරණය කරන එක තමයි හොඳ.
However, despite these calls, it is a road that is long, fraught with political complications and too sensitive for any administration to attempt short-term solutions. That's because there is simply no short-term fix for the long-term problems of the Railways Department, namely a 150-year-old culture of institutional lethargy, entitlement and waste.